Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know I have been gone for a while. I apologize. There's been a lot going on, as I'm sure you know, in the world because the coronavirus, election year, chaos. There's just a lot of chaos going on. Anyway, I just wanted to make a video because I've been getting a lot of questions by people that know about something that's going on in my life, so I'm just gonna make a video. So anytime anyone has a question, I'm gonna be like, go watch the video because it'll answer all your questions. My husband Tim and I have an exciting announcement to make. He doesn't like being on camera, by the way. We are moving to a different state and we're also building a house, which is something we wanted to do for such a long time. So here's our house. We will be moving in September to Austin, Texas. I'm so excited. I know a lot of people's first reactions are like, why are you moving? Don't you love California? What the heck's going on? So that's what this whole video is going to be about, why we're moving. I have a whole list here because I have a lot of things to explain to people, like our decisions and our reasoning. So that's here. Also, first I wanted to address a lot of people back home kind of know that for quite a long time, we've lived in California for 5 years, and for quite a while I was like, I don't want to go back to Texas. I don't like Texas anymore. Like, I still love Texas, but I didn't want to live there again. And I just want to explain what I meant by that. Prior to my husband and I getting married a year ago, last spring, every time I went back home to my hometown, which is kind of a smaller-ish city in Texas, every time I went, like, I wasn't close with my sister, my mom and I weren't super tight, my dad and I have always been tight, but like, every time I'd go, we'd just go out to eat and get drunk. And like everyone would just want to drink. And either I would have to drink just to kind of feel like fit in, I guess, or I didn't want to drink and then everyone would be getting drunk and I'd just be sitting there like, this is dumb. And not just with my family, but like other people I know there too. Like, it just was such a toxic environment. Like, when you're trying to make healthier and smarter choices and improve your own life, it's really hard, I guess. So, disclaimer, that's why I didn't want to go to Texas for so long, because every time I went, it was just like alcohol everywhere, and I just really didn't like that about it. Also, I didn't think that I could live the lifestyle that we live in California there, which now I know, like, you can. You just have to make more of a conscious effort. Like, here, it's obviously very easy to be healthy and make healthier choices because it's in the culture here, it's everywhere here, and I know there it's different. But we live in Austin, so that's a different vibe anyway than my hometown. Okay, here are the reasons why we're leaving California, even though I liked California for so long. First off, when we moved here, the sacrifice was worth it. The pros outweighed the cons. Yes, it was expensive, but we were getting an education that most could only dream about. Like, it was literally insane the amount we've learned just from the experience of working with these companies and these prestigious people. Like, it was just such an eye-opening experience because I was kind of intimidated by bigger companies and more powerful people and super wealthy people and investors and things like that. I was so intimidated. So anyway, the pros outweighed the cons first off. Now the cons outweigh the pros. So one of the reasons why we're leaving is because we're both to the point, like, I'm a very social being and my husband could go without like being around a lot of friends all the time. But it's gotten to the point that my husband is getting really frustrated as well. That we just don't have, we have a few friends, which I get it, like, as you grow up, you don't have like a ton of friends like you did when you were younger, but it's just like the quality of human being here is just absolutely ridiculous, and it infuriates me so much. Like this chart here, every single person has this chart in their life, and the order depends per person. You don't get to choose it. An example, some people have family super duper high. I'm sure you can think of some friends you know that are just like family, live, die, breathe. They'll listen to anything they say, which is great. Like, family's great. My family's super important to me, but if my parents tell me to be a nurse, I'm clearly not going to go do that, as you can see. But one of the things on my list that is higher is social. I can't choose that. It was born into my soul. So it is extremely mentally difficult for me to be here and not have very many friends. And the people that I'm around, I do have a few good friends, but it's just really, really frustrating beyond the point of explanation that so many people here use you for the wrong reasons. Whether they need money to invest in their company or they just need money because they can't pay their bills. People do that all the time. They know I have certain contacts to different big companies. They use me for that all the time. I can negotiate. Like, there's just so many different things between me and my husband that people come to us for. And it's almost like if you take a sponge and you wring out everything and then you just leave it dry and walk away, and that's kind of what friends do here. It's really extremely frustrating. So they just take and take and take, and they give nothing. Not that I need you to give me anything, but don't just be, like, think about your friendships. Like, don't just be the person that's constantly taking. Like, that's extremely frustrating for me. So that's one of the first reasons. It's just gotten to the point that enough's enough. And I always joke, like, it must be easier, like, not in a mean way, but it must be easier to come from a city where people are normally like this, because I know in different parts of the country this is normal. But being from Texas in particular, or some of the other southern states, I just find that some of us in LA and in California struggle a little bit more because we're used to that southern hospitality, really friendly people, and that's not really something you find here. So that's a huge reason for me, unfortunately, because I wish I could be one of those people that doesn't need any friends. But I love friends. I love people. I just genuinely like people. Like, when people are like, I hate people, I'm like, I can't relate. I love people. Okay. And number 2, I'm making a big career pivot. I'm still going to be doing social media, but different aspects of social media. I'm going to be launching my own businesses. There's 3 different projects I have going on. 2 have already, or 1 we're starting this week. Another one I started behind the scenes stuff, but it won't officially start until after September. And then 1 will be available and kind of start in the spring, around March or April. So many different projects, and I know it just doesn't make sense to start a business here versus starting a business in Texas. Also, my husband has other career goals that just make more sense to be in Austin versus here. The 3rd reason is we really have been thinking about what is in the next chapter for us in our lives. And, like, obviously I talk about it a lot. We're always focusing on, like, what's the next level and improving ourselves. And the next chapter for us, we see ourselves slowly starting to build an empire. And I don't like using the word empire because I see so many people on their Instagram bios, like, building an empire, and, like, it's just become overused at this point. But that is what we are going to try to do, as far as, like, we already invest in companies, but we want to invest in obviously more companies and real estate and possibly flip houses for fun projects. My husband really wants to do that. So we're going to start, like, building our wealth, so to speak. Versus here, it's very difficult to do that, at least in terms of, like, we want to be homeowners really bad. And just an example, the house that we're building, the entire cost of the house is almost the amount that we would have had to pay if we owned the home we're in now. If you've seen my house tour, I have a house tour if you want to see my house. But this one we don't own, but if we were to put a down payment on it, it's almost as much as our entire house in Texas, which is so dumb. And our house in Texas is also brand new. This house is brand new. Our house in Texas is about 3,000 square feet. This one's like 23 or 24. Like, it just logically and from a financial perspective, it just doesn't make sense to stay here. Also, going back to leveling up, obviously in Los Angeles you can level up, but my husband and I have kind of hit a wall and kind of plateaued in our personal growth and our career growth, just because I'm constantly learning the same lessons over and over, almost like the universe and God is just kind of like beating it into my head, as opposed to, like, okay, let's go to the next level. And then we've been praying and asking the universe to kind of show us the next step. And constantly everything that we're watching and consuming, media, TV, documentaries, books, says to take more risks. And it's clear to us that God is putting that bug in our ear that we do need to take those risks and invest in ourselves and build businesses and do those risky things. So that's another reason, obviously, like, there's less risk in Texas versus starting a business in California. And the last reason we're leaving is just our beliefs don't really align with certain areas of where we live. And it's just getting to the point that obviously it's election year and things are getting pretty rowdy over here. And I just don't want to be a part of any of it. And if things get worse, if the virus gets worse, different things can happen. I don't really like to discuss, like, politics and things like that on social media, but if things just progress, I don't want to be here when that, like, if stuff has to go down, I don't want to be here. I'd rather be in Texas. So that is another reason. Just note that we're not leaving because of fear of that. That's just kind of like a cherry on top situation. Like, we just don't want to be here to watch that all go down. And I know a lot of other Californians that are also getting out right now for that reason, which I don't blame them. Like, if you actually live here and you kind of see behind the scenes of what's going on, it's getting kind of ugly and it's just continuing to get bad, like worse. So I don't want any part of it. Anyway, if you made it this far, I'll show you a little sneak peek of the inside of our house. Our house is still being built, but this is the model which our house is based on.
I think this one's probably my favorite.
Yeah, this is my favorite. So that would be the front. So you have a little bit of an entry. You don't just walk into like a random room.
And just to be able to get her retarded Christmas tree.
Don't hate on the Christmas tree, Tim.
What's that?
And anyway, I will be giving a house tour once we move because I know everyone always likes to see the house tour every year. So if If you have any questions, drop them down below, or any specific questions, DM me on Instagram. By the way, I have a new Instagram. It's at TinyTello. I still have at me Jessica Marie, but at TinyTello is the one that I'm on every day and I'm more engaged with, and kind of building a new community there for fun. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below if you want to stick around for more videos like this one. I'll see y'all next time. Bye!